Welcome back to This Week in Film. It's special edition, spoiler no spoiler number 2. This week we're doing X-Men Apocalypse.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm Nick Panotto, joined as always by Ray Radaminki and Charlie Chester. And this week, Ray still has not seen X-Men Apocalypse.
And at this point, I probably never will with all the glowing reviews that are coming from it. So I had no interest in really seeing this movie to begin with.
Yeah.
For some reason, I wasn't a big fan of, was it First Class and Days of Future Past? I don't know why. For some reason, I didn't really like those movies. Okay. So when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, yeah, that looks stupid. Like, whatever. And then you guys saw it and said it was terrible, so...
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Well,
it was terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. I'm not going to lie.
But so anyway, the idea behind spoiler, no spoiler, is Charlie and I are going to talk about X-Men Apocalypse. We're going to sprinkle in some spoilers here and there. And because it's a big summer movie that you may not have seen, spoiler alert for the whole episode. And we also might be making things up as we go along to ruin Ray's experience.
We should get like a spoiler alert, like sounder. Spoiler alert. Danger.
Just get Keith. We'll get Keith to say, spoil! All right, so anyway, Charlie.
Yeah.
I did not like this movie.
I couldn't agree with you more, Nicholas Pinto.
I feel like the worst part of it is that it had a chance to be good. You could tell that what I think the movie needed most was another movie preceding it.
Yeah.
That's I feel like this film needed an Avengers style, not Avengers style, but like a Marvel play up where they build Apocalypse like over 3 different movies and then he's there.
Right.
Where in this one the movie starts out in ancient Egypt. And I don't know if you knew this, but pyramids come with self-destruct systems. In case the dude being buried, the pharaoh or god king, whatever we're burying, blue bad guy from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. If you're burying him and things go wrong, you can just knock the whole pyramid down.
Right. And there's a technology in the pyramid that had we found it, we would be probably light years ahead of where we are.
Right, yeah.
In advancement. Like, we would have flying cars at this point. There's no doubt in my mind. So,
maybe we need to go check out the pyramids.
Yeah, apparently so. Like
one of them, there's one with a door that we can't get into.
A lot of...
Is that true?
That is true.
A lot of insulting, like, little things like that towards the audience that we're just supposed to accept for no good reason.
I think the thing that really hurt the movie most was... I really enjoyed X-Men First Class, and I really enjoyed Days of Future Past. But like the timelines in the X-Men movies are really screwed up. Like for the audience, like after Days of Future Past, you kind of think, oh, they have reset everything.
Right.
Like we can go wherever we want. So what they decide to do in this movie is go to 1983, which is fine, except that now we're bringing in more children or more teenage mutants, but rather than new mutants like in First Class where they brought in Havoc and then they made up a couple of other ones.
Yeah.
They're bringing in your classic guys, Jean Grey, Storm, Cyclops, Angel / Archangel. Jubilee, who was in the movie for 5 seconds.
And no mention of what she could do.
Right. But we already know who these characters are. But it's really poorly done. It was really poorly done. It felt like they were supposed to be introduced. Like, it felt like these were the characters we should have gotten in X-Men First Class.
Right.
And we've grown with them. But X-Men First Class takes place 20 years ago.
Right.
And Havoc is still... In the comic books, Havoc and Cyclops are orphaned brothers. But Cyclops is supposed to be the older brother, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff. But Havoc is Cyclops' 40-year-old... older brother, and Cyclops is 15 because he's in high school. It's so they try to bring the comic book continuity into it, but it's too late.
Right.
It's over.
Well, let me ask you this. Talking about Cyclops, the only origin in this movie, the only 2 origin stories are Apocalypse
Yeah.
and Cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
What do we get out of finding out Cyclops' origins? Is it used in any way
Nope.
to further the plot?
Nothing more than, I have optic blasts.
And we already know that. If
Yeah.
you've watched these movies, you know that.
Yeah.
So, it absolutely makes no sense.
And Apocalypse's origin was like when he wakes up in 1980 Egypt.
Right.
He wakes up and he goes, "Oh, well, I'm in charge now,"
Yeah.
and just starts pointing at people.
How does he wake up? Does he just wake up? Does something awaken?
Oh, Moira McTaggart, the girl from the First Class movie, is in Egypt for no reason, and goes down into the rubble remains of this old pyramid, just as these Egyptian guys are resurrecting him.
Yeah.
Completely
and who
coincidental.
are those
too.
dudes? Like, why do they know this guy exists?
Yeah.
Why are they able to find this? And they said that these guys have been searching all over the globe for this Egyptian king. Why all over the globe?
For 3,000 years?
It doesn't make sense.
And they
Go to
find it while
Egypt.
she just happens to be there. Like
Yeah.
that's how you knew the movie was off to a bad start.
One
And
thing
the
about
full frontal nudity.
yeah. Well, I was going to say for
I
Cyclops,
might be going to see it.
it was a bold choice for them to Cyclops to come into his power as he was pleasuring himself in that one scene.
That was odd.
Yeah.
He's in the bathroom stall
right.
and
Is everything blue?
what?
Isn't he blue? Oh, you're talking about
Cyclops?
Cyclops.
Cyclops.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, no.
yeah. Oh yeah, Nightcrawler's in this movie too for no reason.
For no good reason.
For no reason other than we need to be able to teleport.
Right.
We have no good story.
Wait, wasn't Nightcrawler introduced in
X-Men 2, yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
they don't
So,
at
and
that
that was
point,
like that.
And a wonderful performance by
But they make
what's
that
his
seem
name?
like that was the first time they meet him, right?
right.
Yeah.
So
They-
now we're just redoing
Well, now
this
the
whole thing.
timeline is totally whatever they want to do it. Like
And they've insulted the audience again by like killing their own canon in certain ways just for fun visuals and or fun sequences. So like
Yeah.
why the hell is Wolverine Weapon X in this? It doesn't make any sense.
No, that's the only thing that did make sense was because at the end of Days of Future Past, Stryker pulls his body out of the lake. Like, remember, he was dead in the water.
Oh, Stryker
Like,
pulled him out? I don't
Yeah,
remember
Stryker
that.
pulled him out, and then he. I guess the implication is that he started experimenting on him.
Oh.
Rather than the way it happened in the other movies. Now they've made him into Weapon X.
Oh.
So that's the only thing that kind of worked for me. And that sequence was awesome until the end of it. And
Oh, when they have
What-
that little moment.
yeah, where Jean Grey and Wolverine just like start petting each other
Yeah. An old man and this little girl start petting each other, which
Gross.
is
in
kind
a
of
hallway.
strange.
And then he runs away.
Yeah.
He just runs away.
So
And then Chris Hansen shows up and
Yeah.
says, "Hello."
Hello. And they're like, he left already. And then you see Wolverine get tackled by a security guard in the lawn.
didn't what's her name that played Psylocke?
Olivia Munn.
Munn. To me, she always looks so uncomfortable in that outfit, as if like it didn't fit right, and or she had a stomach ache and had to go to the
She
bathroom.
did look
at
very
all
uncomfortable.
times.
I think it was because it was it's a comic book. She wears the exact outfit that she wears in the comic book, which is hot in the comic book, but there's no practical purpose for her to be wearing this costume
No.
in real life.
No, it's absolutely absurd.
And I felt like the most insulting thing about the Psylocke character is that they started going down the X-Men 3 road, which was in The Last Stand. Magneto just starts going up to mutants and saying, "What is your power? You're
Right.
on my team now." Or
Yeah,
"What's
yeah.
your name?" Jared? No. What's your real name? Oh, we all have code names. I forgot because we're mutants. We all have super cool code names. I'm Psylocke. And it doesn't go into like Psylocke has a pretty compelling story in the comic books where she's British and some terrible things happen to her where she gets reconstructed as like a half Asian woman.
Mm-hmm.
And like isn't she Captain Britain's? That's a character. Captain Britain's sister or something like that.
I don't know.
I used to read a lot of
So that's why Olivia Munn was cast because she's half Asian, right?
Yeah.
Right, but she's not British. Like
She-
she's supposed to be like the thing that's weird about her is that she looks Japanese but has this British accent and she's she doesn't look like that. And so she's got all this psychological trauma from everything that happens to her. But in this movie, she's just a guy.
So do you think this movie would have been better if Olivia Munn spoke with a British accent?
No.
No, her performance is so bland.
But I mean, she's just there literally to swing a pink like psychic sword. She's there to, she basically has a lightsaber that she can make as big as she wants.
Pretty sweet.
I can't stand the story of Magneto being good and turning bad again
that's
anymore.
what I was. Oh man, did Magneto need more pain? Did we need to feel bad for Magneto? He's a terrible person.
It's so
He's
ridiculous.
gone through some terrible things in his life that have shaped his ideologies, but he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And the bad guy of the movie, like in all the other X-Men movies, in X-Men First Class, when he and Charles are friends,
Right.
that movie's great because the two of them, like, even though when he decides to become a bad guy, he's like, oh yeah, I'm a bad guy now.
Right.
But at least there's like some sort of character development. This movie, it's as if they had nothing for him to do, and they went, well, Michael Fassbender's a great actor. We need him to cry.
Right.
So
do that like to kill his dog as the motivation is strange.
Yeah, he's just in the woods, and the cops come and shoot his dog in the head to teach him a lesson.
Yeah, and that turns him into a supervillain, which is a really strange.
And he's been living in hiding for like 10 or since the last movie.
Yeah.
And they murder his dog, and he goes, well, looks like it's like John Wick.
I was just going to say, it's the plot of John Wick, essentially.
Yep, that sends him on a genocidal killing spree, killing billions.
Yeah, and Apocalypse finds Magneto and goes, I'll make you super powerful. And then Magneto just stands there trying to pull apart the planet.
Right.
Oh, so Apocalypse and Magneto team up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't really even talk about, like, they show a bunch of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
They don't show anyone dying. But if you watch all those buildings being torn apart...
There's no way millions of people didn't die.
Yeah, millions.
Not to mention all of the nuclear bombs in space now.
Right. And I was like, oh, man, this could be really
movie
cool.
just sounds like it's all over the place.
Yeah,
really is.
Like out of nowhere, like... they have a pacing. All right, bad guy's got to really build it up, and then he's going to do something terrible. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, all the missile silos go up, and I'm like, oh, this could be really cool. Like, they're actually going for something, like, tremendous here. And then they're like, no, we're going to puss out. They're all going to float away in space.
Yeah. Or Storm's in this movie as a teenager, and it was kind of neat how they kind of tried to introduce her, but it was not well done. Mm-hmm. And she says, oh, I have superpowers too. And he goes, okay, well, now you're super powerful too. And you need white hair.
Right.
I'm going to make your hair white because Storm needs white hair.
I still feel like they don't... It's the same problem for me as Vision in Marvel. You have the most powerful character ever that could do anything, can destroy anything, and yet you just essentially have her use static electricity to hurt people. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The physics are, like, all off. You got to, like, stick to these rules that you have set up, or don't use her at all.
Yeah. That's why I think I really wish they had more movies to set this up. And then this is the second X-Men movie where they screw up Angel. Like, the first time they did it was in The Last Stand, which doesn't
They had
exist.
a great actor to play him in the first one. The first one, Ben Foster.
Was that him?
Ben Foster played Angel.
Yeah.
Oh, where's he been?
He's in the new Warcraft movie that apparently sucks too.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was excited for that as well. You know what? I'm going to go see that though, just in case. Just in case
I hear
like it.
I hear if you like the game, you'll like the
Well,
movie.
see, I didn't play the game. I just thought it looked cool.
My brother loves the game, and I never got into it.
Anyway.
I just wanted to say hi to my brother. And
Shout out.
yeah, hi Matt. And so,
And physically, dude, you know, remember?
I'm sorry.
You remember all those memes about, like, Apocalypse looking like the character from Power Rangers, the villain?
Ivan
and,
Ooze.
and they kept saying, like, no, he's going to, like, once the CGI is involved and we get into the film, he's going to look so much better. No, he looked exactly the same.
Just like it, the same, yeah.
There was nothing special about him physically. Like, every time I'm looking at him, I'm like, this is just uncomfortable.
I mean,
to watch.
and when he would get animated and his voice would do like that overmodulated, cool, like where it sounded... The 90s cartoon, the X-Men cartoon, nailed Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
Many, many times over, where it was like the guy's voice, he was ancient old.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sentence.
Yeah.
And, but like the Apocalypse in this movie goes to sleep for 3,000 years.
Right.
He just wakes up in 1983.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, there's cars. weird. He walks around Egypt like when the old guy gets out of prison in Shawshank, and he's like, "Oh, the world went and got itself in a big hurry."
Yeah. Yeah, his motivations are like weak at best.
Yeah.
And that's what Oscar Isaac plays him, right? He's
Yeah.
a great actor.
He's a great actor, and he does, I think, a fine job with the material he's given, but it's boring stuff. Like, he's a boring character.
What's his name in Star Wars?
Poe
Dameron?
Dameron?
Yeah.
Something like
Something
that?
like that.
Yeah. The other thing...
He's great in Star Wars.
Oh, awesome.
It was-
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor. I mean, in Inside Llewyn Davis, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
But the other thing that it just frustrated the shit out of me is that, like, all right, so they have this crazy, amazing computer. What the hell is it called?
Cerebro?
That could essentially, like, pinpoint anybody on the planet, right?
Right.
So, yet Magneto is hiding in the forests of Russia, and Charles Xavier is just like doesn't know where he is.
I think he's just letting him be.
It's just so many things.
But then
that are just
at the
convenient for plot.
here's a huge spoiler, Ray. Earmuffs. At the end of the movie, Magneto lives, and he has Magneto is clearly responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people
Easily.
over the course of the final ridiculously bad.
Right. Buildings are falling.
Buildings are just being collapsed.
Bridges
on top
are
of each
being
other.
torn apart.
Yeah, there's bridges being torn apart and cars are falling off the bridge. Like
Right.
there's, and there's just this swirl of debris. Like all of Egypt is destroyed.
Right.
And the end of the and somehow Mystique, who is a terrible character in this movie, like I feel like Jennifer Lawrence is only in these movies anymore because she was a big star, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
kind of tailed off a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Big time.
but they tried to give her such a big role in this movie, and it's
Yeah, like
useless.
try to tout her as the hero of the world. Like,
And she's a bad guy. Like
Yeah.
Mystique is a bad guy.
and what is she offering? She's not, to me, she's not like a Patton. She's not offering like really sage words of advice or like anything that would want other characters would follow.
Yeah.
And or to convince the audience that she deserves this totem. Like that she is, there's something special about her.
Right,
I'm
this
not convinced
character-
there's anything special about that character.
they keep trying to insinuate that her character has some amazing redeeming qualities, and all she does is betray the people she loves.
Right. It's just all these ridiculous ideas.
And the
Tossed into a hat.
full frontal nudity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence
Yeah.
and Olivia Munn.
In the same scene.
Yeah.
See, now I'm gonna go see it.
They try
just
to
for that.
They try to take each other down, and
Can you give me a time code of that so I can just walk in the theater?
I think it's minutes
See that
120
and then
through
walk out?
129.
Yeah, it was a solid 9 minutes of just tickling.
I think it's called a triple X-Men parody.
Yeah. Oh, that's been advertised on the internet a lot lately. I've seen
Oh,
it.
I feel like I thought I just made that joke
no,
up.
it's real.
Like my other hilarious joke that I told in the last episode. Tune in.
Yeah. Oh, I will say one thing that was good about it. We got to come out with one good thing.
Uh-huh.
Quicksilver is awesome.
Yeah.
They have so much fun with that character.
I feel like they just wanted to keep doing stuff with him, but they ran out of...
He's a great character.
Stuff for him
It
to
should have
do.
been so much more about him. There's a sequence in that tops the last
Yeah.
sequence that he was in the last film. That is it's a solid 5
Remember
minute
like
sequence.
the slow-mo...
The last one was when they were in like the was it like a vault or something
Yeah.
like that? Yeah, and he running
Yeah.
around and like
This
changing
blows
everything.
that out of the
Dude,
water.
Yeah, yeah.
it is unbelievable. It's like 5 minutes straight. It doesn't stop.
And it's set to like the Eurythmics.
Yeah. He just
they're one hit.
Sweet Dreams Are Made
Oh,
of.
Yeah.
okay.
He essentially like I'm spoiling the shit out of this because it's fun to talk about. So like they get to he gets to Charles Xavier's mansion, and it's literally like there's an explosion happening as he gets there, and he looks at his clock and he's like, oh shit, and then he just runs in, and 5 minutes of him. As the explosion's happening in slow motion, for 5 minutes, he's picking out every single person and bringing them outside in different ways.
Almost every single person. That's the other thing that
Oh,
pissed
yeah.
me off
Well,
is that it's
you
this
need to
real big...
Progress the plot somehow.
Well, like it's this huge tongue-in-cheek scene where you're like, oh man, he's got everybody.
yeah.
And he rescues so many people that you go, oh, he has rescued everyone.
Yeah.
That was cool. And then And then there's the building finishes exploding and everyone's fine. And Cyclops shows up and he goes, "Hey, where's my brother?" and they look at Quicksilver and he goes, "I don't even know who you people are." and Beast says, "Oh, he was real close to the explosion."
Yeah.
So I guess Quicksilver couldn't get to him half a second before he got to the Beast.
Yeah.
You know, that's like we just had to kill this character off for no reason.
Yeah, but what does that do for Cyclops? What does that do for his character?
Doesn't do anything
nothing.
for him.
Absolutely nothing.
I mean, other than, this is my brother who has been around for 3
there's no
movies.
good reason to kill Havoc. It just so many things in there that
so
were
many
just shoehorned in for no good reason.
so many just poor decisions and I don't understand. I think the most disappointing thing was that even Bryan Singer can make a bad X-Men movie.
I didn't really like
You're wrong.
X-Men 2 all that much.
Yo, dude.
X-Men United.
Yeah.
It's such
Right?
a bad name.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a great movie. I love that.
there's-
movie.
The first
good
2 X-Men I love.
Points in it. I don't know.
I mean, it just advances the X-Men 2 just advances the general themes of the first movie,
Yeah.
and all the characters have something to do. They expand the cast. Everyone is important to the plot. Wolverine's a badass. Remember in the school scene where he's taking out all those guys?
Yeah.
Or he's actually like just straight killing
and
people.
the Colossus is shown for the first time, right?
Yeah, and that's a waste too.
I'm spoiled because you get a really good director like Mangold to do the Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me look back at the other X-Men movies and I'm like, they could have done it so much better. Like the Wolverine for me is the greatest X-Men movie there is. At this point.
I would go with Deadpool is the best X-Men movie at this point.
Okay,
but
that's
Isn't that kind of splitting hairs a little bit, though?
No, I mean it's a mutant.
I know, but it's not really an X-Men movie, right?
No, it totally is. He's a total X-Men.
I know, but it's not like...
Not the X-Men franchise.
Right.
But
He will not be denied that.
But my top 3 would have to be, if we're not counting Deadpool, I would go X-Men 2, Days of Future Past, and then the Wolverine.
Okay.
I think, and then to round it out, First Class behind Wolverine, but it is close. I really liked First Class.
Well, Wolverine
because First Class
are the two best.
I feel like every week I talk about all I want is a superhero movie that takes place in the 60s.
You had it.
And I had it, and it was great.
Dude, Sebastian Shaw, Kevin Bacon was awesome in that role. And again, they had a great director. I think Bryan Singer is problematic for this franchise at this point.
I don't know. I think everybody's allowed one miss, but this was a big one.
Are there plans for another? Because
Yeah.
this is supposed.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't this supposed to be like the end though?
Nah,
They
they'll
have a
never
spoiler
end.
scene at the end that says more to come, and that's a weak scene at the end.
Oh well, that's the tease for the next Wolverine movie.
I mean, and then how many
No, it's
times
not.
can Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman play the Wolverine?
wasn't it?
No, they
He's
talk
got one
about
more. He says he's
That's
doing
it?
one
Just
more.
one more?
yeah. He says this next one's his last one.
they talk about Essex, and that's Dr. Sinister. That's
Oh, Mr. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister.
He never graduated.
Yeah, no, sorry.
He hasn't passed his board yet.
Right,
Doesn't
yeah.
have his PhD.
He's still Mr.
Yeah.
Sinister.
But yeah, no. Apparently, the latest rumor is that it's not going to be Old Man Logan, which is what originally the next Wolverine movie was thought to be. That it's actually going to be Weapon X because of the setup that they just did.
No, but he's all
there.
old though.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it makes sense, but
Yeah, but the last Wolverine movies, he's freaking jacked. He's like huge,
Jack, man.
Like
Definitely
he's
doing
huge.
steroids.
And at the end of this one, the Wolverine one, like he's definitely weak looking. You know, he's not the same
No.
Wolverine that we've seen.
So I mean, I'll definitely watch. It can't be as bad as X-Men Origins. It can't be as bad as The Last Stand. But I've been wrong before. It happened that one time.
I guess we'll see. But yeah.
But one last thing. I was talking about Angel. The Archangel storyline is one of my favorites, especially like if you're going to use the cartoon as source material.
Yeah.
But I think in the cartoon they nailed it because they established this character of Angel. He doesn't want anything to do with the X-Men, but he shows up every once in a while. And then he goes to get his mutant power taken away. because he doesn't want it because he thinks he's a freak. And it turns out that the person doing the experiment on him is Apocalypse with Mystique, who is working for Apocalypse.
I do remember that. Yeah.
And he turns Angel into Archangel, and he's the leader of Apocalypse's 4 horsemen.
Right.
And so then eventually the X-Men stop Apocalypse, and they rescue Archangel's brain, like they break the brainwashing. But then there are about 4 or 5 more episodes down the line of Archangel, like the Warren Worthington character, who is just obsessed with destroying Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this movie needed. This movie had no motivation for really anything. Apocalypse only wanted the power for the sake of having power. Magneto was just sad because of his dog.
Yeah.
The X-Men...
Wait, the dog thing isn't like a spoil. That's not like a fake thing. This is like a real thing.
No, they totally kill his dog.
I thought you guys were joking.
No.
Yeah, no. It's not like a manly dog, dude.
Yeah, it's like one of those tiny dogs.
Yeah.
An ankle biter.
Yeah,
It's like a teacup poodle thing.
and he talks to it.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's not a good choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, why is Apocalypse trying to destroy the planet and build it again in a better one or whatever he says?
Why are all the nuclear bombs in space?
Yeah.
Other than to say there are no more nuclear bombs, because Superman tried that in Superman 4, didn't work out.
Right. Yeah, like what? Like because they didn't want the bombs used against them, but Apocalypse is like almighty. Like it does. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
Like that was a cool sequence where all the missiles are launching, but it was worthless.
Yeah,
it didn't mean anything.
It definitely floundered.
All right, well, that was X-Men Apocalypse. It was terrible.
Yep.
Ray, go see it. And
I might need to now with all the nudity that apparently is in it.
And the Angel full frontal nudity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that fight with Angel and Nightcrawler was so dumb.
Yeah, that was
everything, like a lot of just stupid decisions. All right, well, Ray, tell us where the good people can find us on the internet.
You can find us on SoundCloud, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Twitter, Google Play Music, and of course, thisweekinfilmpodcast.com.
And if you're listening to us on the podcast radio network, we'd like to say thank you. And come check us out on all those social networks that Ray just mentioned. Other than that, I think that'll about do it for the day. I think if that's the end of the reel, we'll see you next week.
Oh my God.
Please make it stop.